Hello everyone. It's been a really long time since the last time I did a video, and a lot has happened, and I've been really busy, so that's why I haven't had time to do a video, which I feel really bad about. But now I'm finally getting to doing a video, so that's good. So this video might be split up into two parts, depending on how long I take to describe everything, because there's a lot that has happened. Yeah, it's like, I don't know if you can see this, but nope, you can't actually. So never mind. It's a lot of things. You'll find out. So anyways, let's get started. First of all, by the way, I cut my hair. And so, yes, it's new, I guess. New hairs. I donated the rest of it, which is like this long. It was really long and really heavy and kind of awkward, like kind of weird to hold. And anyways, we had Christmas services, and there was a lot of those, but I only got to go to one. And I did help set up, though, for it one night. It was really fun. I got to gaff tape the stage and turn the drum stage into all black instead of silver. And so that was really fun. And the Christmas service that I went to was the very first one, and it was really awesome. I've never been to a Christmas service like it, and Lincoln was playing there, and they were in the round, which means they brought the stage out, and it was a round stage, and there's people all around watching, and the sermon was great. I know it was like about different creators, I guess. So different minds, like the greatest mind of all and all that stuff. And so Ray had us turn to our neighbor and be like, well, you know, discussing who's the greatest mind of all. And of course I was like, Jesus! But I actually didn't mean Jesus, because he really is. And it actually turned out to be Jesus, which obviously. But it was really awesome, and it was a great service, and there was stars on the walls, and we got to hold candles, which is my favorite because I love waving the candle. It's a lot of fun. And so yeah. And then for Christmas, I went and flew out to Arizona, which was amazing, and it was such a blessing to be with my family for the Christmas holiday stuff, and be able to see everybody again, and be there for the parties. And I got to see all my old friends and everything, and that was really awesome. Also, while I was there in Arizona, I went to the Marvel Experience, which is this massive tent place thing. And it's like an interactive Marvel Experience thing. It's kind of hard to describe, and I didn't exactly know what it was, but I just knew that I loved Marvel, and so I was like, yes, I'm going. It was really fun. It was like a training thing, and then you get to go and save the world, which it could have used a little bit of work, but it was still really fun. It was still worth the money. Yeah, it was great. And after coming back from Arizona, I had about 3 days to just relax and clean and pack for Nicaragua. And so I went to Nicaragua on the 3rd of January, and I went for 10 days. And with that, sorry, I say "and" a lot. I just realized that. We're gonna have to ignore it now. Anyways, in Nicaragua, it was truly spectacular, and I will speak more of it on a different video. That's just because it would take way too long to do it right here and now, and I want to keep these videos kind of quick, even though it's still long. But I will do it in another video that you guys will be able to see. And in Nicaragua, I got baptized, which is a funny thing. I wanted to get baptized in front of everybody, all my friends and family, but when I was in Nicaragua, I was still debating getting baptized. I knew that I wanted to, but I just didn't know when or anything, and I heard that people wanted to get baptized there, and I wanted somebody to first talk with me, and so I was sitting on the on some steps talking to my friend Coralie, and Shane, one of the mentors for the guys, comes over and is like showing me Bible verses on his phone and basically saying that if I wanted to get baptized, I can, and the reasons for it and all this stuff. It was great. And one of the verses that he showed me was about the Ethiopian wanting to get baptized in the river right after he accepted Jesus. And the basic moral of the story that I caught from it was, don't let anything hold you back from getting baptized. And I kind of was, because the very first time that I wanted to get baptized was in August, and I was afraid to, because I was kind of afraid what my family would think, because I wanted them to be there for it and I didn't want to just do it without them. And so I waited, and I waited till January 1st, which I was going to get baptized, without my family though, still. But my friends would be there. And that just didn't happen because my car kind of broke down. So I didn't go to the January 1st baptism. And so I decided to do it in Nicaragua. And it was in a bar, which is really funny. And people were just drinking in the background, smoking in the background. Some guy was swimming laps in the background before we went into the 2-foot deep pool. But it was a good testimony to everybody around there too. So I'm still glad I did it, and it was great. Then also, after Nicaragua, once we got back, we had Thrive Unleashed, which is a youth conference, and it was a 2-day youth conference. We were helping out there for a really long time, and we were there for almost all day on Friday, but we also went on a hike for our 1822 group. So our 1822 group went on a hike, and then we went to the Thrive Unleashed, which was kind of draining for me, but it was still really good. And there was Switchfoot there, and Propaganda. That's what his name is. He's like a rap, lyric person. I don't really know. I didn't really see much of him. And then something Bianca Othroff thing. Her last name is really hard to pronounce. And then there was Kurt that was speaking, and then there was Bob Goff on the next day, which was really awesome. I got to meet Bob Goff because I called him. It was awesome. And he is really actually who he says he is, I guess. A great man of God, and definitely following after what God has for him, which is really awesome. And then, so yeah, in Thrive Unleashed, I didn't really get to enjoy most of it because we were kind of volunteering. We kind of got roped into volunteering. We thought we were going to be enjoying it, but then we just ended up volunteering, which is fine too. And then the next week, on Monday, I would say, for our mentor group, we had a special guest in the room, and his name was Don Nava, and he's a life coach, and he does inner healing stuff. And so I was praying that he would come and speak to, deal with me, which sounds funny, deal with me, or just do inner healing on me. And God kind of answered that prayer by sending him to our mentor group, which was really, really awesome. While I was there, he was saying about the spirit and the soul, and then the body, which is kind of like the flesh, but it's the body, like our own personal bodies. And he was basically saying that the world says the soul and the spirit are joined, but the spirit and the soul are supposed to be apart from each other, because the spirit is God, completely God, and the soul is our self and our flesh and our selfish desires, kind of, but it also has to tie in with emotions and our own mind and our choices. And so they're supposed to both be separate. And there's a verse that says it's either, actually, One second, let me find the verse. Okay, so the verse is Galatians 5:16 through 17, and it says, "But I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the desires of the flesh are against the Spirit, and the desires of the Spirit are against the flesh. For these are opposed to each other, to keep you from doing the things that you want to do." And so that really kind of hit me afterwards, after knowing about the Spirit and the flesh and everything. So you're either following God or you're following yourself. And you have to actively make that choice to follow God instead of yourself. And it's a hard choice, yes. But last Monday, I decided to completely give up myself, which is still hard every single day because it's like a daily process. But last Monday, I said a prayer to make God the Lord of my life and completely follow Him in everything that I do and completely give up myself when He calls me to, which, just give up myself at all times, basically, too, which is hard sometimes. But I said a prayer and kind of put the stake in the ground and was like, okay, I'm not turning back. This is, what God has for me. Obviously, He has that for everybody. But it was really, really, really good for me to do that. And since then, God has been kind of disciplining me, which is good because I know that I am a child of God when God disciplines me. Otherwise, if He didn't discipline me, I wouldn't be a child of God, and I would know that I wasn't. But as I was jaywalking across the street the next day, which is bad, which I did every day anyways, but I was halfway across the street, and God convicted me, and He said, use the crosswalk. And I said to Him, no, I don't really want to. And He still convicted me, and He said that it would be good to just get that little bit of discipline in my life. And so I've been doing it ever since, and I haven't failed at using the crosswalk. So I use it every single day, no matter what. And so one time, Thrive, the entire school was walking, jaywalking across the street. Because I said everybody does it, but I was like, I will not conform, but I will be transformed by the renewing of my mind. And then I go and use the crosswalk, and everybody's like, Christina, what are you doing? And I was like, I made a commitment. I can't break it. And so it's been really good because where God disciplines me, in that little area, it affects the rest of my life. And now when He calls me to do something for somebody else, say driving somebody to somewhere, I have no problem with it. And I'm like, okay, I'm sacrificing myself for God. And this is what I'm doing. And I'm showing love to other people by doing it. And so it's really good for me. And I hope other people can be reached by that too, by seeing God growing through me, I guess, which I really hope that it will encourage other people, which I think it will. That's why God's doing it, obviously. Anyways, enough with the rambling thoughts. I'm going to do a second video now. Goodbye.